Welcome to Shackleton Base, a permanent lunar base in the Shackleton crater at the moon's south pole. In this game, I'm going to be expanding my space agency's presence on the moon while working with three major corporations that have their own agenda. Now, as you can see, I've got everything set up for a solo game. Today I'm playing using everything from the new expansion Shackleton Base below, within, above. I'm using all three new expansion corporations: Lunar City, which brings civilian settlers to the moon; Undermoon, which wants to excavate below the moon's surface; and Zenith Works, a construction company ready to collaborate on shared infrastructure. To set up Lunar City, simply place the civilian meeples based on player count. For a solo and two-player game, use 3 in each section. For Undermoon, you randomly place out these underground hall tokens. Each player also gets a sideboard with your color drill and these fracture tokens. More on those in a little bit. Setup for Zenith Works is easy. Simply place out the various structures and make a pool of blueprint tokens. I'm also playing with the new space agency India. I'm using the A side, where after taking one of these command actions, I can spend 3 reputation to take a corporation action. Once I've built my HQ, that cost goes down to 1 reputation. On the B side, you can ignore the energy requirements when funding a project by spending 2 reputation. Once improved, in addition, you can spend 3 reputation to ignore the credit cost. Don't worry if that doesn't make sense, I'll explain everything as I play. But I should note, I've already made 2 videos about Shackleton Base. My members only first look video completely went over how to set up the game. And my learning game video took a look at the base game rules using base game corporations. In this playthrough, I'm going to try to focus on the new rules added with the expansion and not take as much time with the base rules as I normally would. Okay, and with that, let's get started. Our opponent, Astrobot, is in purple while I'm playing pink. I went ahead and I already completed the shuttle phase. I gave Astrobot a random shuttle face down, and then I had a choice between the number 5 and the number 4. I selected number 5, so I got these astronauts, 2 titanium, 1 rare earth, and 7 credits. I'll be using poker chips for credits in this playthrough. The other shuttle's astronauts went to the Lunar Gateway, and Astrobot ended up getting Shuttle 3, so they're actually going to be first player. I should note that since my starting dome was placed next to the Lunar City Corporation token, I started with one of these civilians. Okay, let's get started with Astrobot's turn. We simply flip over the top card of their action deck. We line it up with their previously placed card, which we placed during setup. And we look in this central box. We see that the 2 A's are matching up. So that means the active corporation for this turn is going to be Lunar City, which is in the A slot. We have Undermoon in B and Zenith Works in C. We then look at that marker there. That's just going to move up their development marker 1 space. Nothing happens immediately, but the location of the development marker determines a lot of their actions, how powerful they're going to be. For example, which buildings they're going to build, how many points they'll receive for, different projects, things like that. And speaking of that, it looks like they're immediately using their blue scientist, and they're going to take 3 corporation actions. When Astrobot takes corporation actions, they just take 1 from each of the 3 corporations, and they take different actions than we do. They use their cards here. So we're going to get to immediately see how all 3 of these corporations work with Astrobot. First up is Lunar City. They're simply going to take the next civilian, and then they're going to place it around the crater using the exploit the crater rules. Now, that happens to be the most complicated action that the Astrobot takes. I'll explain in more detail when they take it with one of their actual astronauts. But basically, we're going to look, again, inside of this box that we've created with these 2 cards, and we're going to look here at this diagram, and it shows a little triangle, and it's highlighting a specific row. So in this case, it's right there. It's that row. There's also an arrow that's pointing a certain way, either clockwise or counterclockwise. In this case, it's counterclockwise. So we're going to start there and we're going to continue moving counterclockwise until we find a row where Astrobot has the greatest value of structures in that entire row. The total value is just adding up the total footprint of all of the structures. So these, one sizes, those are domes. That's a 1. These workshops are 2. The laboratories are 3. And the headquarters would be 6. And funnily enough, look at this. In this row, it actually has the most structures, which is 1. So they are going to end up placing it right there. Oops. Little setup issue there. There we go. These are solar panels. They go here to show that these are powered structures. But after they place the civilian there, they're just going to get victory points, depending on where the development marker is. If it's between 0 and 3, they get 1, which it is. So they're going to get 1 victory point. And there we go. That's their corporation action for this card. Next, they're going to move on to Undermoon. For this, they're going to move their drill 2 spaces. They've passed over this fracture token, and so they're going to place it out here. Once again, we're going to use the same process to determine where they're going to place the fracture token. So we know we're starting there, and we're going to go down the row until we reach a sector where they have one of their structures. Oh, wait, it can't go there. So it's got to go here. It can't go in the center base. So that's where it's going to stop. For this red fracture, you place it between 2 sectors. The yellow fracture actually goes in the middle of the sector, covering up the resource. And the blue fracture token goes on one of the corporation tokens. So that's the first thing they do. The second thing they do depends on, again, where the development marker is. When it's between 0 and 3, they're going to take one of those underground hall tokens. They're going to take the leftmost token, but whether they take the top, middle, or bottom one depends on, again, where that triangle is. So we can see it's going from the upper left to the lower right. That means it's going to take from the top. It then places that in the empty space, and that's it. Now, if its development marker was at 4 or 5, then it would have simply flipped over one of these halls that it already has. And when it reaches 6 or 7, that's when it would take one and place it, but immediately flip it. At the end of the game, those flipped hall tokens are going to be worth 4 victory points to Astrobot. For us, those flipped tokens will be worth 6 victory points. Okay, we're almost done. We're on to the third corporation action. This is Zenith Works. Now, what it's going to try to do is to overbuild. This is something that Zenith Works lets you do using their blueprint markers. Unfortunately, in order to do that, you need to have some of these bigger buildings out, and then you can place smaller buildings on top of it, sort of building up. Astrobot obviously can't do that because they only have this one little building out. Anytime Astrobot cannot perform one of these corporation actions, it instead gets 2 reputation. There we go. Those were the 3 corporation actions, and now it gets this bonus. It gets to take an astronaut from the Lunar Gateway. To determine what type of astronaut it's going to take, it would first look at its base, and it would take the astronaut that is the least prevalent on its base. Right now it has no astronauts on its base, so it's going to go to its second priority, which is the astronaut that is the least represented at the Lunar Gateway. In this case, that's going to be a blue scientist. So then place it on the empty dome space. In the first 2 rounds of the game, it always wants to place the scientists in these dome spaces because it'll get 2 victory points at the end of the round. And there we go. That was Astrobot's turn. It is now our turn. There's a couple of thoughts I have immediately. First is that with these corporations, reputation seems to be like a pretty big deal. There's a lot of different things that let you spend reputation, or you're going to lose reputation and gain it. And India here I can spend reputation in order to take corporation actions. So I'd really like to get my reputation higher. I actually see a card there that I really want. So I think I'm going to use my only red astronaut, the technician. This spot lets me fund a project or get a card. I want to get that one. The automated excavation. Now that's going to cost 4 credits. The energy level needs to be at a 4, which it is, and then we're going to lose 1 energy. But this card's going to give me 5 points at the end of the game, which is great, but it's also going to be an immediate effect, which is to be able to build a structure. I will have to pay for it, so I think I will just do a dome. That just costs 1 titanium. I want to go right there. I'm going to need to power it, so we're going to spend 1 rare earth in order to do a solar panel. You just grab the next one going around clockwise, and you can see it's going to add just 1 energy, which is going to get me 1 reputation. But the cool thing about this card is it shows there that any time that I build and construct a building, I get to move my drill forward 1 space. So we're going to move it forward. We have to place out 1 of these fracture tokens, and this can be in a sector, any sector where I have a structure. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. And you can see here, when your drill reaches that spot, you immediately get 3 credits. And now I'm actually considering whether I want to use my red worker for this. I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to use a blue worker. Just because I'd like to use that red worker for something else. So that means I didn't use the right worker, so I'm not going to get to take that bonus. Hopefully you'll see why I did that in just a second. Okay, so that's my turn over. So here, look at this. We have A and B. So when that happens, you just look at whichever one has the red marker on it. So the A is marked in red. A is going to be the active corporation. Development marker is moving forward 1. They're going to fund a project just like we did. Obviously, they're going to fund the active corporation, which is A. They're going to take the one that is worth the most victory points at the end of the game. These are tied. In that case, it's going to choose based on the orientation of the arrow. So this arrow here in the box is pointing to the right. So it's going to take the rightmost card, just put it off to the side. It doesn't, ignores all the special abilities on it and everything. It's just worried about the victory points. Now, it does have to check the energy level, so it needs to be at a 4, which it is, and it's going to reduce it by 1. Although, actually, because it's development track, it's on the 2. That means that it has a 1 energy discount for this. So the energy just needed to be on a 3, not a 4. But it's still going to reduce it down by 1. Then it gets to perform its bonus action. Here it gets to do a corporation action with the active corporation, which is A. We've seen this. It's going to take one of the civilians. We look on here, that same triangle, but this time it's moving clockwise. And we're going around and we're looking for the first row where it will gain the civilian if the round were to end right now. And I'm going around and I'm looking. Right there, it would be tied. And then the tie, I think, goes to who has the biggest structure on the sector that is closest to the astronaut, or in this case, the civilian. So that would be the neutral player. So I think it's got to keep going around. I think it goes around to there. Because here again, we're tied, but it has the largest in the sector that's closest. So I think that's where it's going to go. And it's still just getting 1 point. Okay, great. Now it's our turn, and this is why I saved my red worker. Let's go ahead and do it. The technician. We're going to exploit the crater, and we're going to do it right here. Now, I am on a 2 spot here, so this is going to cost me a little bit of money, but normally I would be able to, exploit these sectors for 3 money each, 3 credits. But unfortunately, these sectors have a fracture token on them. When those fracture tokens are there, you can't exploit, and this one keeps you from exploiting it with a technician in order to get money. So what you do instead is you take the token, you flip it over, and as you can see on it here, it immediately gives you 2 reputation. And then same thing here. Now we're going to have to pay 2 because Astrobot is there. They have the largest structure. But once again, we'll get to take this, flip it, get 2 reputation. Now the same thing works for the other fractures. So if you have a yellow fracture and you put out, a yellow worker, what are they again? Engineers, yeah. So you put out an engineer, they can heal the yellow fractures and we'll get 2 reputation. And one of the goals I have my eye on is that middle one there for the undermoon. That is just, have 3 of these fracture tokens that you've healed. So that might be the one that I'm going for. Oh, and look what I did over here. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Okay. Here we go. It's now the Astrobot's turn. Once again, A is the active corporation, and this time they're moving over their goal marker. Once this reaches the end of the track, they'll put it out on one of these goals, depending on where their development marker is. Okay, they're taking their blue scientists. They're going to exploit the crater. Diamond is here. And we're going counterclockwise. Once again, we're looking for a spot where they're going to gain the worker. I think they're coming here. And when the Astrobot exploits the crater, it doesn't really do anything. It would just pay us if, one of our buildings was the largest in one of the sectors. But we don't have a building there, so that's it. That's the end of its actions. For my turn, I want to take my scientists, come down here. It's going to cost 1. I am really low on money. Get to do 3 corporation actions. So first of all, I want to get a titanium. I have enough reputation so I can get a titanium. That gives me 2 titanium. That'll allow me to build a workshop. I want to use my civilian. So the way this works, it's right down here. As a corporation action, you can take a civilian that you have in your base and you can put him out here. They don't work like a regular astronaut. Instead, they pick a single sector, and then you can either exploit that sector for the resource, or you can get 3 money, or you can activate the corporation token. I'm going to go right there. I'm going to select my sector, and I'm tempted to move my drill. I'm also tempted to get $3 because I am pretty cash poor right now. I think I'm going to have to do that because I'm not quite seeing how I'm going to get money anytime later. So yeah, let's get $3. Then for my 3rd corporation action, I want to grab one of these underground halls. I've got space for one right there. So you have to take the leftmost tile, but you can take from the top, middle, or bottom. There's 2 there that I'm really looking at. So the idea here is that these are going to give you income during the income phase at the end of each round, as long as you have an astronaut sort of next to it, sort of powering it up. In order for me to do that, I'd have to move my drill down 1 more space. That creates a space for an astronaut to go into. And then whatever you have in the hall there, that will give you income. So that's the plan. Now the question is, what kind of income do I want? Do I want that top one, which would be 6 credits? Amazing. The middle one is 2 titanium. That's fantastic. And then the last one is almost the best of the bunch, I think, because of how important reputation is. 3 money and 2 reputation. I think I've got to take that, you know, because of my power here, which I haven't used, which I might use right now. Yeah. I think we're going to take that one. A little income and a little bit more reputation. And now, of course, I used a scientist, so I do get to take one of those astronauts from the Lunar Gateway. I'm going to get this one-armed worker here. Not sure what happened to his arm, but it's gone. That engineer will give me a titanium at the end if I have him here. I might move them over here once that opens up. C this time. Move the marker forward. And getting another project. Get the most expensive one. Normally the energy would need to be on 4, but it has a -1 here because of its development track. So it needs to be on 3, which it is, and then it's going to subtract by 1. And then it's going to try to do a corporation action. Once again, it can't do the C corporation action, so it's just going to get 2 reputation. Easy turn. Now back to us. I really wanted to build. That was something I really wanted to do. Now the question is, do I want to like jump up to a laboratory or do we want to just come here? Yeah, let's just go ahead and build. It's free right now. I want to pop this one or yeah, let's go for this one. Try to reduce our maintenance costs. I want to play it right there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it right there. That's going to cost 2 titanium. And I'm going to place out a drill token. Yeah, let's put that right there. Perfect. That was my bonus because I used an engineer. And when I built this, I could move this here. I think I will move it right there. That will be helpful. And then when I do a construction, I can move my drill down. So now there is space for a worker there. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. Gotten a few things built here. Now it's Astrobot's turn. Yep, this is moving up. B is active. And they're finally going to get around to building. And they're building a level 2, a workshop. And so this can get a little complicated as well. We're going to look at the arrow. It's right here. We're going in a counterclockwise direction. I mentioned this in the other video, but there's a little bit of vague language in the rules when it comes to this. The rule says that you want to search for the first available row where Astrobot would gain an astronaut if the round would end now. So for example, we're going to come here to this row. This is the first one that has an astronaut on it. Now, if it were to end right now, they are not winning this astronaut, right? In fact, currently there's no astronaut that they're going to win right now. But if they were to place this and then it were to end right now, then they would win it. And so the question is, when is now? Is now right now the condition of the board as it is right now, or is it after I place this? Personally, I think it makes sense for them to place this, right? They're going to place it right there. That's where it would get placed, I think. I'll double check that. But now they're winning this astronaut because they have 3 value of structure to my 2 value. It makes sense to me that they would want to do that. So that's how I'm interpreting those rules. I could be wrong about that. I just don't know. But that's how we're going to play it. So yeah, it's going to choose a powered sector that is closest to the astronaut. It can't come here, obviously, so it's going to go there. So now I'm going to take a marker from the current corporation, which is B. And it's going to try to place it there, but it can't because it already has one. So since there's already one in that sector, it can't place another one. So it's going to place the only one that it can. There we go. It's done back to us. I'm afraid it's going to build again because it has that yellow worker there. It just took this over. We currently have those two and that one. And I'd like to place something here. Problem is, will I even be able to do another build? I don't think so. Tell you what, we're going to go here. Now that's a 3 credit spot, but it won't matter because we have the largest structures in both of those sectors. So with this scientist, I want to... Yeah, I think I want to get another civilian. Now, in this sector right here, you know, we've cleared out the first section of civilians. In the second section, you have to have a reputation of at least 4 in order to be able to take civilians from there. Then it's 8, then it's 12. So this is one reason I wanted to get my reputation so high. We are high enough we can take this. We're going to just set it right here for now. They can come here and they can activate these halls. So that seems like a good job for them. So there we go. We resolved that. And then the next one, I'm going to move my drill. And bam. We get here. So here we get to place it on a sector where we have a structure. And we're going to get that resource. But it's also going to fracture that resource and keep it from being able to be exploited until the fracture is fixed. Let's go there to get a titanium. And I think that's all I'm doing right now. So Astrobot's last action of the round. Yep, building again, just like I thought. B is active. Oh, and we're moving its marker forward. It's going to do another one of these. Same starting spot, but now it's going clockwise. So we're looking to here. And yeah, see, if it builds right here, then we will be tied, and it will take that. And so I think that's what it's going to do, and that's what I was afraid that it was going to do. So right now they're winning this one, but I'm winning that one because then I have the largest structure nearest to it. But then I'm still taking this and that. Yeah, so I think that's what it's going to do. And then it's going to do this bonus. So it can place that. It has 2 places that it could place. So it's going to look again, starting here and moving that way. So it's going to do this one. And now it's okay that there's 2 on that sector. It's just that on the sector that you're putting it on, you can't have 2 of the same. That's it. They're done. And so now we have to decide what we want to do with our last engineer. Building is expensive. Look at that. I would only be able to build a dome, and I don't have the rare earth in order to power it. You know, it'd have to go somewhere that's not powered. So I think we need to go out there and exploit. Where could we go to exploit? That's the question. Oh, I could go right here. That's a 1 credit spot. Okay, no, I have a better idea. I'm going to come here. That's going to cost 2 credits. We're not going to have a lot of money left over, but that's okay. Ooh, and I just realized a mistake I made. When you put a civilian out from your base, it costs a reputation. I did that once. I should have 1 less reputation. Now, I don't think that affects anything, because I still would have been at 4 to be able to take them, and I still would have been there, so I could have taken the titanium. So I think we're fine. I'm getting 3 corporation actions. 1 corporation action, I want to place this here. That's a 4 reputation income. Second action, place this guy out. Cost a reputation. We're going to go right there. We can exploit here, and I'm going to exploit that. So we're going to move our drill down. So now we've freed up both of those spaces. If I can get them filled, we can get both of those incomes. Fantastic. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not getting this worker here. Hold on. If I put this here, I'm not getting that. We're going to go there. And we'll exploit that and still be able to move it down. Perfect. I think my third is just going to be to get 2 reputation. Okay, there we go. We're done with actions. We're moving to the maintenance phase. So first thing is corporate maintenance. Okay, nothing here with the lunar city. Under Moon, though, we're going to lose reputation based on where our drill is. Now, Astrobot ignores this. They don't lose reputation. They also don't gain any benefit from these halls that they have. But our drill's way down here at the 3 reputation spot, so we're losing 3 reputation. This is why I wanted to keep my reputation so high. Now, with Zenith Works, we haven't really been using a lot of Zenith Works abilities, but their maintenance would be gaining victory points. We would gain victory points for our buildings that are at higher levels. So if we've overbuilt, we would get 1 victory point for a 2-story building, essentially, 4 for a 3-story building, and then 9 for a 4-story building. You'd only be able to do that with your HQ, so we haven't had a chance to overbuild yet, so we're going to have to skip that. We're now retrieving astronauts. So we start there at 12 o'clock and sort of move around. This one's first. And again, we're tied, but I have the closer one. So I get this. I'm going to place it there to power that up. Come here. I got this one because I have 3 to 1. Let's put them up here in the dome to get some points. We come here. Astrobot has it. Okay, they would try to put it where the domes are, but they didn't build that many domes. So we're just going to have to fill it up like that. Comes to here. This is Astrobot's. They don't bother with filling those up because they don't get those abilities. We got that one. So we can get both of those powered. We have this one. So these don't help us very much. And we have that one. There we go. So we have a bunch of civilians here in our base, but that's actually kind of handy because they are going to power up our 2 underground halls. Now we're collecting income. Astrobot's simple. They just have this 1 scientist in a dome. That's 2 victory points. We also have a scientist in a dome, so we're also getting 2 victory points. But now we're getting a bunch more income. We're getting 3 credits. And 6 reputation. We now have to pay maintenance costs. Again, this is not something that Astrobot has to do. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for our reputation, 2 more. So 6 in total, but minus 3 because we have an engineer here in this workshop. So that's going to be 3 altogether. Then we just clean up everyone on this board. And lastly, for Astrobot, we leave that last card. We shuffle up these 6. And that last card becomes the first card. And there we go. We're ready for round 2. We'll take the round 2 shuttles, shuffle them. Give one to Astrobot face down, and then we'll get to pick from 2 more. Are we going to want just one scientist or just one engineer? That's a tough one. I think I want the extra scientist, though, so I am going to take this one. It probably means we're not going first. Oh, look at that. Astrobot is 5 and we're 4, so we actually do get to go first. So I'll collect all of our astronauts and our resources, and then we'll get ready to start round 2. There we go. We're all set up for round 2, and we're going first. I've been going back and forth a little bit, but I think let's take... Oh my goodness, we have another one-armed astronaut here. but we're going to use this scientist to get 3 corporate actions. I want to get a rare earth. My reputation is just high enough. I also want to take one of these citizens. And I want to put them here, I suppose. And I'm going to activate the drill marker. So I'm going to get to move my drill 1 forward, which is going to put out this fracture. And I might put it on this one right here. So let me move this down once more. Okay, cool. So that's 2 actions. I get a third. Think about taking a haul, like either that money one or the 2 titanium. You know, I'll wait on that. Instead, I'm going to take 2 reputation. No, I take that back. I'm going to get a titanium. I was thinking about using my power, but I'm not going to. And I'll get the bonus. Let's just fill that up right there. So we're going to get a 6 discount now on our maintenance costs. Okay, B's active. Move that up. They're going in here. They're taking that one now. They have a 1 energy discount. So right now they need it to be at 4 energy. Oh, okay, they're going to virtually buy energy, but they don't have to spend the money. And then if that's not enough, they're going to build a solar panel. And then that's 1, 2. So that's going to give them 3 reputation. They just put the solar panel in the middle, so now anyone who is building and needs, to power it up, they can take that solar panel. They then reduce the energy by 2, because that's the cost that's on the board. Oh boy, this is not good. And then they're going to do a corporate action. So because they're at 4, they're just going to flip over the one they have. That'll be worth 4 points to them at the end of the game. Okay, back to us. You know what? Let's try building first. It's cheap. Let's get in while the getting's good. I just want to build a dome. So that's 1 titanium. I think I want it to go here. We'll use that. So we don't have to spend our rare earth. So that's nice, I guess, although it would move up 2 and we would get 2 more reputation. That's the only thing, but that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. Now, when we build, we get this instant effect, which is a corporate action. And we're also going to get to move our drill For this corporate action, I want a titanium, right, which I can get from my reputation track. I'm then going to activate this. We'll move our drill, and we have another fracture. We're going to get a good, and we get to activate one of these tokens. Okay, fine. We'll go here, get a titanium. So now I have everything I need to build a workshop if I want. And for just one more titanium, I could go all the way to my headquarters. That could be fun. So I also, yeah, so I got my good, but now I also get to activate one of these tokens. Do I want to get another civilian? Maybe I want to get another civilian. Or I could move my drill again. You know what? Let's move the drill again. That'll work just fine. And I think that's our full action. Oh, and then we get this. I'll go ahead and place one of those. And then I'm going to activate my ability. I'm going to spend 3 reputation. Oh, shoot. When I used this, did I take my reputation down? I think I forgot. So I should be there. Because it costs a reputation when you put one of these guys out. I have to remember that. I'm still in position where I can get another titanium. So now I'm really just 1 rare earth away from getting this, because I will have to power it. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to put that out. Okay, I'm all done. B again. B is going forward. We're fine with that. Well, they're getting another one of these. Gosh, these are so many points for them. They take the most expensive one. Yep, they're still short here, so they're still... Yeah, they're going to need to build another one of these. That's going to go up 2, so they're going to get 2 more reputation. They're just getting so much reputation from this. Then they're spending 2 of it. And then, yeah, they would flip one of these, but... Oh, wait a minute. The first time, they still should move theirs forward 2. I forgot about that. So they always move it forward 2. And then they either flip one or they take one. So this should have gone out. So that would have been back here. Starting from there and coming around. And they control that. So that would go there, I think. Okay, so now we're doing it again. It's moving 2 steps again. Boop, boop. It's going to put this one out. And now we're looking at this. Going counterclockwise. So yeah, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be right here. And then to determine which one of those it's going to go on, we have to go by this arrow again. So it's going to go right there. And now it doesn't have one it can flip. And so I think it just gets 2 reputation. I think that's what it does. And I'm realizing now I made a huge mistake. I should not have used my yellow worker here. I just do that by instinct. But I should have saved that, because I could have put it here and gotten 6 reputation just like that. But we're going to have some fun, because we're going to build now. That's going to cost 1. And we're going to build our headquarters. Because we got the 4 titanium and the rare earth that it needs. It's also going to cost 2 energy. So we're way low on energy, and now I can place this somewhere. The question is where? Wherever I place it, it's just going to be an automatic win. We'll go there. We can use the power that's already there. Boom. But I am going to get to move my drill. Bam. I'm going to get 3 money. Then I can also activate one of those, and I think Yep, I'm at 4. I'm going to take one of these guys. And we'll just put him in here for now. Cool, and now I've activated my special ability here, so it just cost me 1 reputation to take a corporation action after I take one of these actions. So I will do that. I think we're going to need the victory points, so let's go rare earth and 2 victory points. Okay, done. B again. That's kind of crazy. This moves forward. They're gonna build, starting here, going counterclockwise, and yep, I mean, if they built in this row, they would win it. So I think, and they're currently winning it. So either way, I'm pretty sure it goes to the closest one. They have to build one of these. That's gonna increase it by 1. There we go. Well, they also have to spend 1 in order to do it. And then they're going to place a B there. Right there. Back to us. And I just don't have enough money, but I could easily get enough money. But I could also forget about that, and I could just go here for 1. Or do I use my blue? Yeah, possibly I use my blue here. Yeah, I need to find ways to gain reputation before the end of this round, because I'm going to be on the hook for 6 reputation. I'm doing so much drilling. Unfortunately, this maintenance comes due before the income. Going to come there and going to activate one of these so I can move my drill all the way down. So that was number 1. Number 2, we're going to get 2 titanium in there. I'm then going to do this here. That's going to cost another reputation. Then I'll activate. Oh, I don't have the reputation now. Ooh, okay. So I might do the money. Yeah, I'll get 3 money. Those were the 3. I can now get someone from there. Let's get another scientist to get some more points. Then I can use my special ability. Just costs 1. And I'm going to use it to get 2. Like that. Then at the end of my turn, I'm going to claim a goal. I've now completed that goal right there, which is to get my drill all the way to the bottom. So that's going to be 12 points plus 1 for my reputation there. So that's going to be 13 points. And another thing that comes in the expansion that I haven't talked about are these little tokens. Basically, when you reach that many victory points or exceed it, you get to pick those up and pick one of them that you want. So I'm going to take this one, which is 4 reputation. Just happens immediately. That gets me to the 6 reputation that I need that I'm going to spend here in maintenance. And then I'll get it right back in income. So there we go. We've avoided losing any victory points. That is nice. Woo, okay. Well, that was a turn. Okay, A is now active. Moving over there. They only have blue left, so they're coming down here. They're going to do these 3 things. Grabbing one of these, they're going to place it out. And they're going to get 2 points. So I'll just give them that right now. Starting here and going around, I think it's just going to be right here because they're going to take that. Now here they move. 1, 2. They're going to put this out here. Yep, once again, I think it's going to go right there. And then they would flip one, but again, they don't have one to flip, so I think they get 2 reputation. At least that's how I'm understanding that. And then here, they can overbuild. So they will, and they're going to get 2 points. They're going to try to overbuild their tallest structure with the largest structure that fits. So that would be this one. They have a 3 there. That's their largest structure, and they're going to add a 2 to it just like that. And then on top of this, they could add a 1. Now, the important thing to understand when you're overbuilding is that you can't, like, put multiple on the same level. So you can't do, like, something like that. The next one has to go on top to make a 3rd layer. Oh yeah, now they're going to grab one of these, and it's going to be the least that they have in their base, which is yellow. They're going to get that engineer, and they're going to put it in there, because they're going to be able to score points for those, which I have been completely neglecting and forgetting about. All right, back to our turn. We have 2 more turns left. I've got some money now, so I could go get a card. That advanced drill would have been good early on. I could also send this out here to, like, take care of that rift and get some more money. Man, getting these cards is so expensive right now. Pretty much everything is expensive. I'm going to come here to get some more money. So I'll get 3 here. Here, we'll take care of this. So that would get me 2 more of those. And then here I'll have to pay 1, and so I'll only be getting 2, so that'll be 5 altogether. Okay, C and A, but A has the red, so A is going to be activated. And boom, this is coming off. So where it is right now, it's going to go to the middle goal. And that's a shame, because I was going for that. So now we're going to have to go for that one. But that's going to be 8. And I think it gets the extra points based on where it is on the reputation track. So 8, 9, 10, 11. Now it's coming out here to exploit, and this is something that I forgot to mention, I forgot about. I might have done this wrong, actually, in the first round, but anytime that it's sending an astronaut out here to exploit, if Undermoon is in play, then it's going to try to maximize the number of fractures that it can take care of. So we're starting there. It's coming this way. And so I think it's going to want to... It's going to want to go right there, right? Because then it could take care of this one and that one. Yep. That's going to give it 4 reputation. And when it bounces off the top there, it gets victory points instead. So it's going to get 2 victory points. It's going to cost 3. I'm going to grab this income. Because remember, we can flip all these next round. And each of those will be worth 6 points. That'll be 30 points right there. So that's pretty good. I am at 8, so I could grab some of these guys. Because I want to get to that 7, so that's actually not a bad idea. Oh, but to play them, I have to lose... I mean, I have to lose a reputation to play them. So my second one could be to gain 2 reputation. Then my third one could be to take 1. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do that. That was my second. Now my third is going to be to play one of these guys. That's going to cost me 1. So we'll go right there. I can activate that. I have 8 or more reputation, so boom, we can place them in there. I'm going to need 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was my 3. I'm then going to spend a reputation. So now I can do another one. So maybe I'll get a rare earth. A again. They're coming here. They're grabbing one, and they're going to get 2 points. Okay, here it's going to move 2 all the way to the bottom. This comes out, and now we're going to go through the same thing. So we know the answer. It's here. And then, yeah, it's going to bump. Oh, no, now we're at 7. I mean, we're at 6 on here. So now it's going to take one and flip it. And it's taking from the top row. And then here it's going to overbuild again. And I think it's going to overbuild as like the highest that it can. So it's going to overbuild like that and get 2 points. It doesn't say that the Astrobot takes one of those, so I think they ignore that. And then they're going to grab another one, and it's going to be yellow. Time for corporate maintenance. I've got to pay 6 reputation. Okay, I don't have any of those. Astrobot ignores that, so we're done with that. Now we're going to collect these. I'm getting that guy. I'm getting this one. I'm getting this one because it's tied, but I have the highest structure nearest. So I'll put that here, I guess. I'm getting this one. They're getting this one. This one's going to the neutral player, so that's just going to go to the lunar gateway. That goes to them. And that one goes to me. Which we can put right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we're close. That would have gone up there for them. So they have 2 of those. So that's 4 points. We have 2 up there, so that's going to be 4 points for us and 3 money. And now we have all of this income as well. So 6 reputation, 2 titanium and a rare earth. 3 more victory points. And 8 money. Take a 10 and put 2 back. So we are now rich. Now, of course, I have maintenance costs. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, minus 6. So I have to pay 4. Still have 17 credits. That's going to be fantastic. We can easily afford to get some more projects going. So I'll do all the astronaut cleanup and we'll get ready for round 3. All right, and we're back. Round 3 time. I already went through the shuttle phase. I drew a 1 and a 5 for myself, and I picked the 1 because I wanted to make sure I was going first. Astrobot got the 3. I've already given out all the astronauts. This kind of sucked because we got no materials, but I did get to activate that corporation token, so I was able to get another citizen. So I now have 7 citizens on my board. which means at the end of this turn, boom, we're going to be able to take that goal. But the main reason I wanted to go first is because I really wanted to do this. On the 1 spot, and we're going to get some goods. Well, we're going to get 1 good. We're going to get 1 titanium. But then we're going to be able to repair all 3 of those. I'm going to have to spend 1 to the bank for that sector. But that's going to be 6 reputation. Lovely. Now at the end of my turn, I'll claim this. That's going to be 12 plus 4, so that's going to be 16 points. 38. And we got past these. Now, I realize now I forgot to show the other ones. I'm just too busy playing the game. So the other choices you have are 6 money, 3 points, or 2 titanium. These are the 10s. For the 25s, you actually get to keep this, and then you can play it on your turn when it comes up. So let's see what these actually do. So this would let you fund a project for 3 less energy and 3 less cost. That's very nice. And you actually play this when you're funding the project. So you take the action, and then you can play this to make it cheaper. This one is when you build a structure, you may discard this token to build a solar panel for free and reduce the cost of the structure by 1 titanium and 1 rare earth. Very nice. I think that's probably the one I'm going to take. So this one is when you place an astronaut on the lunar gateway, you may discard this token to perform an additional corporation action. Normally you get to do 1. This will let you take 2. And then this one is when you exploit the crater, you may discard this token to double the activation rewards, which is pretty cool. Honestly, either one of these is pretty nice, but I have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of energy, though. That is a thing. But I have the money to spend to kind of get more energy. So I'm not too worried about that. I can also use this to make more energy. So I am going to take the construction one. Great. That was a fantastic first turn. Love it. Okay, so A has already been done. So now they're going to pick between one of these. So they're going to advance the one that's furthest back. So that would be this one. So that one's going to move up. A is still, though, the active corporation. That doesn't change. And they're going to exploit. Starting there, where are they winning? Yep, so they're going there. Not paying me anything, so that's that. Back to us, and I'm really wanting to start flipping those over to get those 6 points. In fact, although one thing to keep in mind is they only have 1 blue. So maybe jumping in and building first is a better idea. And I also want to get cards, so I have a lot that I want to do. Yeah, I think I want to build first. And we'll use this. I think I want to build... I guess this one. Yeah. And so it's going to be 1 less of those, so it's just going to be 2 titanium. Also, I get to build this for free, so that's just going to be 1, 2. I'm going to get 1 rep. Or, yeah, I'll go there. That's fine. I immediately get to activate that token there. So we'll get a blueprint. do have to spend 1 energy as well. So we're done with that. As soon as I build it, I can move my astronauts in there if I want. So we'll put 2 blues in there. Okay, and then we have this bonus. You can either put one out or you can exploit one that's already there. So I'm just gonna get another one of those. Then I can do my power. And I could get more of those guys. I could also put one out. But no, I want to start flipping these. So we're gonna start flipping these. There we go. Okay. That was my turn. Think I remembered everything. A again. That's crazy. So this has gotten to the end. Come in here. Take either one of those. This is going to the right, so it'll take that. So it's got a 2 energy discount. It is going to have to add 1. And then subtract 2. And then the bonus. It's going to get 3 points. Back to us. Oh my goodness, this research fund is amazing. I think we have to grab that. So let's jump in here. It'll cost us 1. It's going to cost us $6. Now we need 5 energy. So where the energy is right now, we can spend $3 in order to gain 3 energy. See that right below there. So 1, 2, 3, and boom, 1, and then the second one, I'll just get a victory point. So now gaining reputation is giving me victory points. That's really good. We're still short, so we're going to have to get a solar panel going. So we'll spend the rare earth. This is going to increase it by 2. 1, 2. That's going to be an immediate 2 victory points. And we can just place that in the middle. So now I have to spend 2 energy. Bam. I get this. I immediately get a rare earth and a titanium. Oops. There we go. And what this card lets me do, it's 4 points at the end of the game. All of my civilians that are in my on my board can count as any astronaut that I want. That's going to be amazing if we can get these built, which is going to be my goal. Also, projects cost 1 credit less for each civilian that we have on our board. So we could basically be doing these projects for free now. Honestly, that's not a bad idea because they're worth quite a lot of victory points. So we have all sorts of ways of making victory points. We want to flip these. We want to get projects. We want to build these and move people into them. We have a lot of things that we need to do to get some points. But for now, we get this bonus. And honestly, these are worth, each one of these civilians is worth a point at the end of the game as well. So getting more of these in is not a bad idea, although I do want to flip these. Okay, fine. I'll use this one to flip one of these. But then, boom, I can use my special ability. I can use that to take one. Why not? Why not, right? Great, things are starting to come together. Wow, A again. So this is going to bump into that. They're going to get a reputation. They're at the top of the reputation, so they get a point. Everything's converting into points now. Ah, but it looks like they're going to construct their headquarters. Because that's where they are on the track. Starting there. And so I think it's going to go right there. They're going to have to power it up. That's just one. They do spend the 2. I believe they're going to move that person in there. There we go. And now they're going to place out... Oh, nope, there's something already there, so they're not going to place anything out. Great. They're done. On to us. I mean, we don't need to mess around, do we? We can come right here. We'll just go 1, 2, 3 and flip all of these. All right. Those were the 3. I can now grab someone from up there. Blue. You can come up here. I do have 2 of these now, so I can do something with that. We'll do our special ability. Do I want to overbuild? Might as well. I haven't talked about this too much, but yeah, when we overbuild, we use blueprint markers. So for a corporate action, which is what I have right now, you can build one of your structures over a larger structure, and you just spend blueprints equal to the size of the new structure. Maybe we want to get one more of these so then we can overbuild our laboratory on top of our HQ. So we could do that. Our reputation is high enough where we could just take a blueprint. Yeah, let's do that. That means we're done. A again. This is crazy. Look at this. A. All right, so they would move this, but it's already been done. They're going to move one of these. These are equal. So now how do they decide? They're going to choose the other letter that's on the card. So in this case, it's A and C. So they're going to move this one off. And they're at the end here, so they're going to take the maximum. So that's going to be 12 plus 4. So they're getting the 16, just like we did. And that's going to get them right to 50. And they're building again. That's annoying. So they're going to build one down, one level down. Starting here, going clockwise. So they have control of this. So they're going to build all the way at the top. That's going to add 2. So that's going to be 2 more victory points. But it does spend 1 energy when it builds it. And they don't get any of the special abilities that come with the laboratory or anything like that. And then it's going to add 1 of these. Okay, our turn. We're coming here. That's going to be 1. We've got 3 corporate actions. First corporate action is going to be there on the reputation track. I can activate a token. I'm going to get another blueprint. Then I'm going to spend, for my second corporate action, I'm going to spend 3 of them to build this on top of my headquarters. Nice overbuild. Now I can move people in there. Oh, I'm just remembering something. These only, those are only worth points if they have people there. Ooh, I was going to move all these people over. Okay, we'll move these in. Like that. And move that person in. I mean, that works. That works great. And I get to activate this, so I'm going to get 3 credits. And I can activate a token. Boom, can get another one of these. And we can just put them up there. You know what? My third is going to be to spend this to just build a dome. We're going to overbuild again. So that's now a level 3 structure. We immediately get this, which means we get to get one of these cards. We're going to get the gym. It would cost 7 money, but we generate 1 money for everyone in here. And we have 8. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is going to be free for us. We do need 6 energy, though. So we'll use one of these. Build that. That's going to give us 2 energy. Also 2 reputation. Now we just spin 1. We got that card. Beautiful. That was that. Now this card actually lets us get another card. Now what's great is this, before we fund a project, we can produce 1 energy for each one of our guys in here. Let's go ahead and get this card. So once again, we have the money. We can generate 1 energy. So that's going to be a point. Then we have to spend 1. That was just worth the most points, but it's also going to reduce our maintenance costs. So each one of these structures will cost 1 less. We now can grab someone from there. We'll get a scientist. And now I can use my guy's power. I really like India's power. It's really nice. I'm going to get a titanium. Now at the end of my turn, I'm going to claim that goal over there, which is to have a level 3 building, or have a building that has 3 levels. So that's going to be 8 plus 4, so that's going to be 12. That'll get me to 54. And taking the lead. Beautiful. We finally have a different active corporation here. That's going to be C. They can't move, so this was going to get moved. And I already took the top one, so they're going to have to move down. 8 plus 4, they're getting 12. Very temporary lead. They're going to get a card. Both are equal. Plenty of power for that. And then they're going to perform this. So they are now going to overbuild and get 3 points. Back to us, and I want to get another card. That's going to cost 3. We'll get this card. This is going to let us build this, so that's why I'm getting it. Otherwise, the power is not that big of a deal. I can generate the 2 power that I need, and that's also going to get me a reputation and a victory point. Then I have to spend 1. Great. And so I instantly get to build this. Whoops. Obviously, you have to... I'm making a mess. And if I build this here, I'll get that one. Or might as well build it right there. So that's going to cost me all of these. And one of those. I'll get a titanium. I'll get $3 because you get to activate all of these that you've already done. Oh, there's nothing there. That's fine. Actually, that's not fine. Yep, you know what? I'm coming in there. I'm coming in there. We'll get the rare earth. We get the money. And then I want one of those tokens. Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and move these guys in. We're going to fill it up. That's all good. I did that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to spin this one. We're going to overbuild with this. Right there, doesn't matter. And that's immediately 5 points. Whew, okay. We're done. Okay, it's going to be active. They've already done all those, so that's no problem. They're exploiting the surface with this blue. And honestly, it doesn't matter that much, but they have it here, so they're just going to put it right there. And that does matter a little bit because I am going to get paid $1. And there we go. That is it. So let's go to the maintenance phase. Corporate maintenance. That's going to be 6. Down to 8. And it looks like I'm getting 4 victory points and 1. So 5. The rulebook doesn't say that Astrobot gets points for their overbuilds. Seems like they should be getting 5 points right now as well. So we'll just keep that in mind, but the rules don't say that they get that, so we'll move on. We're retrieving astronauts. I get that one. They get this one. They get that one. I don't think theirs has to be charged up like that, but we'll do that anyway. I get that one. We'll put it up here. Great. Collecting income. So I converted all of my income into in-game points. So the only income I have here is 6. Yep, just 6 points. And they get 4. We're dead even. I now have to pay my ridiculous maintenance costs, and this could be pretty bad. So I get -1 to the maintenance cost of every structure that has a civilian in it. So my costs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, and 2, 19. I have exactly 13. So I'm 6 short. And for everyone that you're short, you lose a reputation. My reputation collapses to 2. Now that is like losing victory points because we get victory points for our reputation. So that is bad. Okay, we can now proceed to final scoring. So we're going to gain points based on our cards. So let's see here what I have. I have 10, 15, 19. 19 points from cards. Okay, that gets me to 90. And they have 3, 6, 10, 14, 18, 21. So they're going to get all the way to 42, which is actually 92. We now go to scoring our laboratories. I have all of my laboratories completely filled up because the civilians count as any astronaut that I want, thanks to my cards. So if you have one person in a laboratory of the right type, that's worth 2 points, 2 is worth 5, and 3 is worth 10. So I'm getting 30 points here. So I'm now at 120. And I think I did this wrong for them. In round 3, you should try to fill up the laboratories as much as possible. So instead of those 4 points, they should have gotten these 10. So we'll just net them 6, 7, 8, and 5 more, that's 13. So that gets them to 105. Okay, now we're going to do our points here from the reputation track. I get 2, they get 15. Wow, so we're neck and neck. But here comes the banger. This is where I get them. We look at our corporations. In-game scoring for our corporations. 1 point for each one of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And they get 3. And then we go to Undermoon. They only get 4 for each of theirs, so they're only getting 8. But we get 6 for each of ours, and we have them all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30 extra points. That gets us all the way to 161. And there you have it. That was a complete solo game of Shackleton Base with the expansion Below, Within, Above. I'd like to thank all the financial supporters of Totally Tabled, including the Totally Radical Hextra, John Kohler, Scott Myers, Kevin Qualls, and Jay Satterwhite, as well as the Totally Bodacious Lancelot CNS. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can join on YouTube or my Patreon at www.patreon.com/totallytabled. You'll gain access to my new exclusive podcast, Table Talk, as well as unboxing videos and whatever extra stuff I come up with. As always, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.